Groove City.
Hey, what's up? I'm Lefty.
And I'm Rich Furniss, and welcome to another episode of Groove City.
Yes, we are very excited to bring a New York City legend, music industry executive, DJ, does it all, just a legend. Let me introduce Hector Romero.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Guys.
Thank you so much for joining us. Yeah, thank you. Glad you could make it.
In New York.
Yes, sir.
Getting nice and chilly out there.
Yeah, definitely getting
Feeling
brisk.
chill today.
Yeah, man.
It's on, but that's how it goes.
We're going full
Seasons
fall.
change.
Yeah.
And here we are.
I've been appreciating the leaves. Yeah, thanks for coming down and taking the time.
Absolutely.
How you been, man? You been good?
Doing well, keeping busy, working hard, as I always say. And well, just like DJing, doing the label stuff, just full on 24 hours, never stops, grind.
Yeah.
You're
Always
a
in
man,
the hustle.
man of
Always
many
in the
talents.
hustle.
And I have to say, so I saved this for when we were on air.
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to finally meet you because I've seen your name around a bunch and obviously heard a bunch about you in New York forever. And as Lefty said, a New York legend.
Yeah, the legend part, I kind of like blush at that because I don't feel like I've earned that status.
I think anybody who does as much as you do and has been through so many different parts of like New York City, and not just New York City, but music culture, you know what I mean?
I suppose
and you've kind
in
of
that
touched
sense.
a lot of different pieces in it of it as well.
Absolutely. It's been a long journey. This is my 40th year DJing.
Wow.
Congrats.
And it's crazy to think that I've never stopped ever. You know, some people say,
Amazing.
oh, they take a break, they join the military or went away somewhere. I never stopped. So it's like,
Is it something that you feel like is such a part of you that like you couldn't give it up, like you'd miss it if you?
yeah, if I don't play one weekend, I don't feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like that's it. I like, damn, I missed it.
yeah.
I need to play.
I can relate to that too, you know?
So yeah, so it is part of me. It's what I don't know how to do anything else. I always say,
Yeah.
I'm not a handyman. My wife busts my balls because I don't even know how to hang up a picture. I feel like I'm good at what I do, and that's
You are.
music
Yeah.
and all the entities of the music business and DJing, of course. So yeah.
I think for anybody who's been in it for this long, you know, is like I have the same feeling as if I don't DJ, I don't feel fulfilled.
Right,
And it's
yeah.
something that always calls back to you. And I've had times in my life where I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna try something else for a little while, but I've always pulled back into DJing. And I've never spent more than maybe a month
Right
not
on.
DJing
Right.
at least, you know, like
Yeah.
once a week.
Right. Right on. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, you got the itch pretty early on. Let's segue into the very beginnings of it. I mean, what got you into music in your earlier years, and then what eventually got you into dance music and all these things, you know? I guess a little bit.
Yeah, so let's think back and do the math. I said I've been DJing 40 years, so I started DJing at 13 years old in the Bronx. I'm born and raised in the Bronx.
I read that in
Nice.
your little bio before we
Yeah.
started.
So it was in the Bronx, of course, was hip hop.
Yeah.
Either you were a DJ, a b-boy dancer, sports, or drugs. So
Those are the only options.
yeah. So DJing kind of came like just watching DJs in my neighborhood playing. My parents were very festive kind of couple that loved to have people over, going to people's houses, uncles and friends, very social. And I remember specifically going to this one neighbor's house, and their son had a setup. And I was just like intrigued. I was like, what is that? He showed me, and I was like, I like this, you know? And it just gravitated to it
Yeah.
at a young age, at 13, yeah. So it just went from there. I started off as a hip hop DJ first. I still have all my original hip hop vinyl.
Oh, nice.
I
Oh, yeah.
love.
That's
I still
awesome.
have.
How big is the collection at this point?
I'd say well over 50,000. Yeah, I would say, but I cleaned house 16 years ago. I got rid of a lot of things, but the hip hop original vinyl, which
Had to
I get
hold on to
offers
it.
from like DJ collectors in Japan. It's like, oh, we heard that you have your vinyl collection. Are you interested in selling it? I said, no, not yet. So yeah, hip hop was my first thing, my first love as far as DJing. And I remember in the Bronx, I did a battle one time.
Oh, nice.
And I got my ass kicked because this guy, he was so good. And I remember him cutting up Heartbeat by Tanya Gardner. He was like, heartbeat, heartbeat. And I had nothing to stand on. I was just like, all right, that's it, I'm done. So no more hip hop. I went into electronic music, and then, you know, the whole, I guess, dance electronic music, you know, like, who should I, I can't think of the names of the records. But anyway, just electronic music. So yeah.
How did you get exposed to that electronic music first? Because you know, it was heavily hip hop.
So listening to the radio a lot.
Okay.
And of course, this is all still in the Bronx, and becoming a mobile DJ also, that was a big influence for me.
Yeah.
DJing every weekend in high school, doing bar mitzvahs, sweet 16s, private events. So just in that was the journey.
Yeah.
Do you think doing so? A lot of my friends have come from that world, and I feel like a lot of the younger generation really hasn't come from that like mobile DJ setup. And I started as a mobile DJ.
Yes.
Do you feel like that taught you a lot as far as like reading a crowd and all that?
Absolutely, 100%. I always said that I give it up to being a mobile DJ, to learning how, like you said, reading a crowd and playing for the crowd and not just for yourself. Super important.
For sure.
You know?
Yeah.
Like when you kill that room and you're like, okay, quick, let me drop on some MJ and get him back in here.
That's right. Yeah. You gotta learn how to like play for them, and one for them, throw them a bone.
Yeah.
You gotta throw a bone.
You
once
gotta
in a
throw
while.
bones, yeah.
You gotta. Even to this day.
They're there to
Throw
party
the bone.
and
It's
celebrate,
important.
you know.
That's it. People, they pay their money, they want to be entertained.
Yeah.
It's not about you just playing the latest hits.
Right.
Or not even the latest hits, it's just the latest records,
Well, I think that's one of the things that I will notice, not even just from an age point, but from a veteran standpoint of DJs, and especially a lot of the older DJs that I talk to, you know what I mean? Like people who are our age, having that experience, having to read the crowd and going through it versus a lot of the younger generation, I feel like they have these sets just pre-planned and it's just like, it's a lot for them. And like you said, usually I'll do, all right, this song's for me. Here's one for you. Maybe I'll give you a couple more. Then there's one for me, and being able to have that balance, that give and take.
Absolutely. Yeah, I feel like I've had that a couple of times this summer playing, and I noticed a couple of guys opening up that they didn't know how to shift.
Yeah.
And if something's not working, because they come with just this one pre-planned set for the most part, and if it's not working, they don't know how to like shift.
You got to pivot.
Pivot.
You have to pivot.
That's the word.
Yeah.
We're not all main stage DJs right off the bat.
Exactly.
To be honest with you, as somebody who comes from a long history of playing shows and bands and stuff like that, and playing rehearsed shows, I think I appreciate DJing a lot more because you have
The improvisation.
We're like,
I love that.
even if you're killing it, you can just be like, you know what, I'm going to drop a classic that you're going to love even more because I've been killing it with stuff that you don't know, which is great. You're like fully engaged, but now you can just like pick things. You can play old music, no problem. It's cool.
Yeah.
It's cooler that way.
That's what I love about the CDJs now. You have something in your mind, it comes up, and the 3000s,
Type it
they
in
type
real
it
quick.
in, and if
that's
you're
been
organized,
nice.
stuff comes up quick.
Yep.
That's what I love. It's just like on the most spur of the moment. Love that.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Nice.
absolutely.
So also while you were coming up in New York and all that, what was some like the first clubs you got to play? Tell me a little bit about the experience, like kind of coming up in that era of music.
Sure. So it was like Save the Robots was a big club for me to play at. Limelight, Tunnel, Studio 54 after the heyday. Those are just, but I think, Studio 54 was amazing just to be in that room because you see like the nostalgia of like what went on there.
Yeah.
But then again, Save the Robots was that underground. It had sawdust on the floor. It was the first time that Sneak came into New York, like in 98 or something like that. And we had him play for us at Save the Robots. And Chicago DJs, they don't know how to play with knobs. They're more like fader DJs. He came in the booth and we had a Yuri. He's like, dude, what is that? And I was like, oh, let me give you a little run through. So he learned how to mix on a Yuri because of me. And so we always have fun about that. Mr. Carlos Sosa.
Day of, too. That's impressive.
Yeah, for sure. So those were the great clubs. Oh, Palladium, of course, as well. Red Zone, that was my stomping grounds. Red Zone was actually, because I was too young to go to Paradise Garage. So Red Zone was my Paradise Garage where I met David Morales and started DJing with him and became his opening DJ for him and just kind of like the path forward.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
That moment,
And you guys did quite a bit together.
I was gonna say,
Yeah, we played. Oh my God, I've opened for David for over 30 years almost. Oh no, 25 opening for him, and just being part of the company. And fast forward to actually joining Def Mix Productions.
Yeah.
I call myself an alumni of Def Mix.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's like the company's no longer available or active,
Right.
but I'm an alumni.
for anybody who doesn't know what Def Mix is,
Yeah.
can you?
I'm jumping around. I know.
No.
So Def Mix is a remix production company started by Judy Weinstein, kind of known as the godmother of disco and sort of house music. And then it was with her, Dave Morales, and Frankie Knuckles, and Satoshi Tomi. That's the core group that started Def Mix. But actually, it started with David and Judy. Well, I'm lying. Started by Judy. Judy asked David to come and be part of Def Mix, and then David asked Frankie to come and be part of Def Mix. Frankie asked Satoshi to come and be part of Def Mix.
Nice.
And just the chain reaction from there. And I'm kind of like that last generation that joined in 1994, I think it was, yeah. So in 94 I joined, and I basically grew up at Def Mix.
That's amazing.
25 years of my life, a quarter of my life.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about the music business. Remixing and producing was never my call. I've tried it. Don't really like being in the studio. So for me, I always found a passion for the business part of the music industry.
Yeah.
I really love that. Speaking to my lawyers, speaking to my distributors, speaking to my producers, the artists.
And A&Ring and
A&Ring, it really is my passion.
Yeah.
Like, aside from DJing, first and foremost, A&Ring is and being part of the music industry. In the background, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
It's the
I love
music
that.
selector of the industry.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
you
what
know,
it is. Facts.
DJing the business.
Yeah. I love that part of the business. I really do. I a strong passion for it. Like I said, speaking to the lawyers and learning and all the aspects of, and then back to Def Mix, learning from Judy. You know, it's like being there, her right hand person, basically with everything, all the contracts that went into the remixing. And all the records that we put out on Def Mix. So yeah, that was a big part of my history.
Yeah,
I'm grateful to David and Judy for kind of taking me under their wing and let me be me, because you know Def Mix was known for a style, but I was always kind of like, you know, the black sheep and a little different style wise. Like, I took a little bit of everybody. I took a little style from David, a little bit from Frankie, a little bit from Satoshi, and then I had mine. So that was me. I like a little bit of all kind of music.
Nice.
You know?
Well, I'm sure you influenced each other, you know?
Yeah, you know, genres. I come from the school where it didn't matter what genre you played, just play good music.
Facts.
So being influenced by those guys, and then of course outside of Def Mix, being influenced by Tony Humphries, Danny Tenaglia, those are my heroes.
Yeah.
If I had a T-shirt, it would be all those DJs.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that make me. And then of course
Tony and David.
Yes. You've seen those T-shirts.
And Frankie.
Yeah.
So a lot of history as far as being part. I guess the legend status. I guess for that, how many years I've been doing this. So
exactly.
But, yeah.
And still crushing it too, you know?
Yeah.
I feel relevant.
Yeah.
I feel like I am.
You recently played Jackie's.
Oh man,
That looked pretty amazing.
Oh, Jackie's in
Yeah.
Barcelona, really amazing.
That looked incredible.
They have a great label now. They're doing well. They're expanding the brand. And to play for them was pretty incredible. It really was. And in Barcelona in the summertime.
Ah, gorgeous.
Aside from the food and the cañas and
Yeah,
jamón.
man. Bro, you can get jamón at the gas station over there, bro. Everywhere, dude.
You can't go wrong anywhere.
Forget it, yeah.
You know, at noon is a caña.
Ice cold caña, yeah, dude.
Yeah, and
Can't beat
ham
it.
and pimientos padrón. That's one of my favorite things.
Yep.
So shout out to Jackie's and all. Actually, they're coming to New York in a couple of weeks, so they're gonna be hanging out and coming around. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. So yeah, Jackie's the whole summer, but Jackie's was a highlight for me this summer. It really was, just because the venue is called La Terraza in Barcelona. It's an outdoor, actually it's indoor, but with an open air rooftop, and people are there from. I think they opened at 4 p.m. and it goes to midnight, and it's just the vibe, just
Total vibe.
You know, and to this day, I still get nervous. I remember that gig, and
That's a good feeling, though. I love that nervous feeling before a little bit.
because you care,
Exactly.
right?
Yes.
If you don't care, you're not gonna.
Yeah.
It's excitement. It's nerves of excitement.
Nerves of excitement.
Because then you start to feel pressure. You're like, okay, I'm really excited. This is a dope gig. I got to really crush it. And it's just you're excited. It's anxious.
So what happened with that gig was incredible, because I didn't know they were recording the set like that. The way
Better off that way, I feel like.
much better.
Facts.
Much better. So when they sent me the video, I was like, holy crap, all the angles that they did.
Yeah, it looks sick.
And everything in sequence, audio-wise, with the video, just the best gig of the summer. Actually, the other one that was really good was in Montenegro, a place called Dolcinium Kite Club in Montenegro. That was incredible as well. But yeah, Jackie's, that was a good one. So
nice.
I feel relevant, and playing here in New York feels like it's getting better again. It feels healthy. I mean,
feel like
you're
the New
you're
York
in the
house-
scene
For sure.
big time as well. You know, it's like
I feel like the house scene in New York in the last like 2 years has been
Right?
It's like
Yeah.
there's such a resurgence. You're seeing a lot of unity within the scene, which I love. You're
Yes.
seeing a lot of great producers come out, a lot of great DJs and stuff.
I'm glad you said that word unity because I only know him a short while, but I feel like we hit it off.
Dude, yeah, definitely.
I'm happy when he's playing. He's happy when I'm playing.
Yeah.
And that's what it's supposed to be about.
And yeah, exactly. Just like, come on, there's a little bit for everybody here.
Dude,
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, every weekend there's so much happening. you
Right.
know.
I mean, come on, how many 9 million people in this city?
Yeah.
And they're all wanting to hear house and disco everywhere.
But it is one of those things though right now that I feel like was like everybody will promote each other's shows. A lot of people go to each other's shows. I mean, me and Lefty
Absolutely.
joke about how there's a couple staple nights that we have to go to because our friends are putting them on, and to have that
Sure.
connection with the
Support
scene is
goes a
important.
long way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Friday I went out. A buddy of mine, Leva K from Greece. He played at gospel on Friday night, and I was tired from the week. I was getting back from Miami and Tampa, and it was Friday night, and I was away actually for the whole week. It's Friday night. I should be out with my wife, but she understands I had to go out and socialize and get out there. So yeah, it's good to go out and support.
It's really good to go out. I think every time, I
Yeah.
go out, I'm like, I'll just go and support. You always end up running into people
Right.
in like,
And then out of sight, out of mind.
yeah, exactly.
He said this on the last episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so important.
Yeah.
Really.
It's true. You got to show up and
gotta
just
show up.
stay in people's vision a little bit. And
Yeah.
even just saying what's up and running into somebody at a cool show goes a long way.
It really does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So pro tips for the youngins out there.
There it
You
is.
gotta go out,
Facts.
you gotta socialize. And we're blessed because we're in a vibrant city that has great nightlife.
Yeah.
But for people that live in smaller cities, wherever, I guess the tip is do your own events and grow slowly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Build
gotta
your
kinda
own
build
scene.
your own scene.
You gotta build your own scene, yeah, absolutely. And then of course producing your own music too, which that's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean you're gonna get gigs from producing music now.
No, definitely not.
I'm sorry, yeah, I'm veering off.
No, it's okay.
No, no.
we're
It
just-
all links up. No,
Yeah.
it all links up for sure.
I've been talking to some guys and like, man, I'm putting out records 6 a year or whatever, and I'm still not getting booked. You just gotta keep going. If you really enjoy doing it,
Yeah.
and don't see it you don't feel like it's a labor, just keep being creative. Keep creating music.
Yeah.
I get it. You don't want to have too much content out there, and quality should be the first and foremost thing. But you got to keep putting them out, and then something will click.
Yeah.
I think that's the whole thing that I think a lot of people get disappointed. Oh, I put 3 singles out and nothing hit. And the legends that I look up to are people who put out hundreds of records and people who didn't really pop off till much later in life. And it's the
Absolutely.
perseverance and continuing to release. And truly, like you said, if it's something that you love doing that you'll do no matter what, like DJing or whatever, then
Absolutely.
you're just going to keep doing it. And the consistency eventually will catch on, and people are going to be like, oh, this is a guy who just always does this, and one of them is going to hit. You just got to keep pursuing what you enjoy and what you love. And if you don't love it and you don't enjoy it, then that's also going to come through in the art form, whether it's some DJs who I go see who it's like, they clearly don't want to be up here. This is a job to them. It's like, well, then why are you doing it? Or if you're producing and like it doesn't show who you are and you're not a part of you's on the record, it comes through on every
It
record.
really does come true. How about guys that play a lot and are very like at the top of their game? I feel like they're so busy traveling all the time that I think the music is starting to affect the quality of the releases, because they're on the road all the time, and the most that they're doing is maybe in a hotel room or in a plane or something like that.
Can't catch a vibe.
And yeah, I feel like the quality of some things, not everybody, of some music is kind of getting watered down, and just easy stuff that just really no thought of.
I mean, I feel like at that point, some people start using producers to help them make their stuff, Maybe that's what it is. You're not actually getting the same genuine
Feeling from
part
them.
of the record.
Putting in that extra time in the studio of being, of writing, composing.
Yeah.
On the plane, on the train, you got a couple hours, you do a beat, a couple little things, and then you put it out. Yeah. I mean, every once in a while, something
get one that
magical is
hits.
gonna happen.
For sure.
But I had that in my mind recently when I was like, because I listened to so much music and all day just kind of going through stuff and promos and looking for new artists, and I hear it. It's like it's getting watered down a little bit. Some guys, not everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think you've seen
Pros
some
and
of that
cons.
for a while with like big stage, like festival DJs. I mean, a lot of the festival style music, I do feel like genuinely is a little bit simpler music. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
yeah.
And sometimes it comes from
Right.
like larger sound design and stuff, but like you're not like writing crazy top lines or
I know,
anything.
right.
It's pretty, a lot of it's pretty simplistic.
That's right. Yeah.
Style.
Yeah.
Stylistically.
Either way, I feel like at the end of the day, you really have to separate the two. You know, like you travel and do gigs, and you got to really prepare for that and play different parties and all this and that. But then when you get in the studio time, you got to like not be hungover and focus.
Yeah.
Over exhausted or whatever it is, you know, like you got to really be in a good mindset to like sit down and be like, I'm gonna take some time,
Exactly.
work on some new music,
Lock in.
hold my sound. Yeah, really like disconnect from the rest of the world. But
Yep.
otherwise, you're in the rest of the world. So it's like one or the other.
Yeah. The word focus, I actually wrote to my friend Leva K. He produces music on Medora and the House Records. So he played Friday night at Gospel, and I was really inspired by his set. Young guy, he's like the next generation of when it comes to this kind of like Afro-y, kind of like good quality, well composed music. A lot of music goes into his work and vocals. And I wrote to him the next day. I said, "Look, man, I love what you're doing. You're the future." I said, "Just stay focused. It's so important to stay focused because this is so easy to get sucked in, and after parties, and you know, there's no secrets. You know, the drinking, the drugs, and stuff like that. It can be a downfall. It's just like rock and roll. It's the same thing.
It's true,
Same. You know, right now the DJs are like rock and roll artists.
Facts.
Again,
Again.
there was a little break there.
Yes, it was, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Definitely happen again though.
I want to do a quick like zoom back, like talk, because we went through a lot of different phases of things that you've done in your career.
Yes.
Do you feel like your musical style and taste has changed? You know, from obviously from when you were younger to when you started doing more electronic music and all that.
Yeah.
Then when you started doing stuff, you know, with the label and doing the remixes and all that.
Yes.
And then even now, you know, as you've gotten older, do you feel like your style or your musical taste has changed at all?
Yeah, well, one, because I get bored easily, so I feel like I'm always evolving sound-wise, but I feel like the foundation is always house.
Yeah.
Right.
It's always house-based, but then I like, you know, the deeper stuff, the techier stuff, and it has evolved for sure. I think it's important that you always, you know, change a little bit and not stay in one lane. But then I found out that there's pros and cons to that too, because people never know what to expect from me.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
But they know it's going to be good,
I suppose.
and it'll have your flavor, it'll have your stamp on it. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's what separates producers too, is being able to do different things that still sound like you at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yes. Like someone like Carl Craig comes into mind. Like he's just so intelligent as a producer, and he can do it all, like deep techno. It's just like, but then he's got his
essence.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You
He's
know
one
it's
of-
one of his records when it goes on.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, and my sound has always evolved, always, and I'm kind of known as I like the B-sides.
Yeah, that's more fun. I mean,
You know,
it's like-
digging deep.
I was gonna say the old school crate digging. I mean, that's cool.
Yes.
Why I love DJing is doing that digging and like finding that one record where I'm like, I bet nobody's heard this one yet.
Right.
You know.
Yes.
But this sounds so much
Yeah.
like what everybody looks at. They're all
Yes.
trying to ID it and
Yes.
figure it out. And
I mean, now everything's available to almost everybody. I can't believe, like, lately, I'm getting influenced by, not influenced only, but I mean, like, finding out about new records by Spotify.
I've been hearing that a lot. A lot of
Like-
people are using Spotify to discover new music.
Discover music.
I
House
do.
music that
Their algorithm's really good.
the algorithm's amazing.
Yeah.
It really is.
My wife uses my account though, so
Oh,
it's
see, that's it.
there's a lot of different stuff on there. So.
That's why I told my daughter to get her own account. because, you know,
pay the $2 a month and get the couple's account.
Yeah,
Trust
I
me, it's worth it.
should.
I got
should.
one for Jesse for that
it
reason.
really. But yes, Spotify. I'm finding stuff out like, oh damn, that's how. But people that I know, guys, that, you know, it's just. You know, I get a good share of music, of promos, and upfront stuff from my pals and DJ producers. But wow, Spotify, go figure.
Yeah.
It's.
I also think
Definitely.
it's good to dig from different like resources, right? Because if you're only getting stuff from Spotify, you're only getting stuff from like an in-flight,
Right.
or you're only getting stuff from Reddit. Then people like I can tell
Yeah.
when I'm listening to a DJ, I'm like, oh, this is a Reddit DJ. He
Oh,
literally
wow.
is on all of the Reddit forums, and this is why his
Right.
playlist is.
Or the Beatport top 10.
Or the Beatport, Beatport with the track
Absolutely.
source.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
even like Spotify, there's certain
Yes.
Spotify DJs that I feel like, Oh, he listens to Housework. He listens to Operator. This is literally a rip of that whole playlist.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
That's why I think if you're able to curate from multiple sources,
Yes.
or if you have a really good algorithm of your own that
Yes.
you've kind of curated,
Yes.
it's important to
And
create something
Bandcamp
unique.
as well.
Bandcamp too,
I
yeah.
got a lot of money on Bandcamp lately. Ooh.
That's where all the rare stuff is right now.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. If you dig deep and you follow the people that you like, yeah, you can find some really good stuff. I don't buy vinyl anymore. It's just too expensive. It's just,
I don't know if there's any
I got
more
a
room in your
mortgage, 2
collection.
cars, come on. It's just like vinyl. It's just, come on, right? It's just too expensive. That's all. I'll leave that up to the youngins that are living at home with mom and dad. And I'm fine not having it on vinyl. It's okay.
I buy some records on vinyl still. Like if I go to Razor and Tape or something, I almost
Oh,
buy something
yeah,
every
okay.
time. But it's
Yeah.
like $25
Yeah.
for like
Right.
a
Oof, for one cut.
yeah.
I buy a record in every city I go visit.
Oh,
So I have
right
a
on.
memory
That's
from
support.
every
Oh,
city that I've been
well
to.
done.
At any trip, I buy a record. I'm like,
like
this
that.
is this trip, this is this
like
trip.
that.
And each record is like, my collection is nowhere near what I play. It's all very random records, and it's always the mindset I had when I was visiting that city. And then when I want to relive the trip, I throw that piece of vinyl on, and boom.
I like that. Yeah. Very important to support.
So speaking of records, you're still in the business side and operating and running a record label.
Yes.
You want to tell us some more info on that?
Sure. So the name of the label is called Oriana Music. It's a Latin electronic label that is owned by Sony, officially owned by Sony, not an Orchard distributed label. From the top and the high rankings of Sony that decided that it was important to start a Latin electronic label to develop young talent that are doing Latin electronic music. We don't do, the style of the label is kind of like, we don't do reggaeton, we don't do like mainstream EDM-ish kind of dance music. It's very, I guess, intelligent, I don't know, is one way of putting it.
A little more underground, I guess.
It's got a balance where it's not too mainstream and it's not too underground.
Right.
And that's the sound of Oriana, just right in the middle. We know
Nice.
that the DJs will play it and it'll do well on Spotify, let's just say.
Got to hit both worlds a little
Gotta
bit.
hit both worlds,
Yeah.
which is difficult to do.
It is,
yeah,
yeah.
absolutely.
Completely, yeah. So, but then we have our little underground things. I signed an Alexi Delano record on Oriana.
Nice.
That still does well streaming after 2 years. So yeah, this is my project for the last 3 years, doing A&R. I work underneath a gentleman named Dusko Justic, who's the vice president of Sony Music Iberia. He's the vice president of marketing. So basically, he is in charge of all the frontline artists on Sony of Latin music. So he basically looks after, Maluma, Ozuna, Jennifer Lopez, Ricky Martin.
Oh, nice.
So that's what he does. That's his main job. And then he got the blessing from his boss, Afo Velde, who's the chairman and CEO of the Latin division in Miami, to start this label. So Dusko is an old school New Yorker who's moved up in the ranks in Sony, one of my oldest friends in the business. And about 4 years ago, he called me to say, look, I have this idea. We had spoken about it, but I want to start a label, and would you be interested in doing no, I kid you not. He called me to ask me my advice of who he should hire for.
You're like, I got a great idea for you.
Well, because he thought I'm busy with what I'm doing, DJing and A&R. I'm deaf mix, so he was like, well, he came to me for advice, and then I'm like, I'm on the phone, like, dude, I'm gonna throw myself in that hat.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to be part of that. That sounds really interesting. And fast forward 3 or 4 months went by, and he called me back and said, let's do it. We started the label. And here we are, still developing, still in the red. but it's a labor of love. It's 4 or 5 of us, and we're all dedicated to developing this sound, working hard to get also a Grammy section of Latin electronic for
nice.
in the Latin Grammys for dance electronic music.
They got the Beatport and Track Source Latin Tech House subjects now.
Basically. Yes,
Genre
exactly.
pages.
Yes. So yeah, we're pushing forward.
Love
My
that.
dream is kind of like, I just say for the guys that are listening, like to be the defected of Latin electronic music.
Nice.
That's my passion. That's my dream. Just to be that kind of like go-to label.
The home base.
The home base. Have my core producers, the way Strictly Rhythm had Masters at Work, Armand Van Helden, those names, you know.
Of course.
I want my core guys. And we've got some great guys. Cato Anaya from Colombia, Mr. Power from Venezuela but lives in Miami. There's a bunch of guys that are doing really good Latin electronic music, and not just the typical, which is very in, as you might know, the very techie Latin sample stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have to stay away from sample stuff, so I pass on a lot of demos that are good.
Right.
But because we're part of Sony, we can't do these
course.
samples. So that's why I said that our sound is a little more mature.
Originals,
good vocals, like Cato Anaya and Laraz Cansara just did a cover version of Celia Cruz Carnaval. It's a big record, Latin record. But he got someone to re-sing it, had someone redo the trumpet, you know, original. So a lot of work, a lot of effort went into this.
Yeah.
And right now it's been in the top 10 in the Afro chart for the last 3 weeks. So yeah, we're quite happy. Those type of
amazing.
things that pay off. So
Yeah.
So that's Oriana's. That's the
Very
one,
cool.
my baby that I'm really proud of, and
Yeah, man.
and really focusing a lot. The job came to me like as a blessing during COVID, actually. You know, when I thought the rug got pulled from underneath all of us, right?
everybody, yeah.
From all of us, and I don't know what I was gonna do.
Me neither. Yeah.
And then the phone rang for this job, and I was just like, wow. I was like, damn.
The DJs have been saved.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like I said before, I don't know how to do anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, totally.
But it's funny though, because I think hard work is hard work, and a lot of people talk about COVID, like the negative side and all that. But you notice anybody who is really passionate about what they were doing came out on top and ended up getting into cooler opportunities, because although there was a lot of hardship and difficult times for people, it also opened up a lot of opportunities that might not have been there otherwise.
Correct. Yeah.
Also opened a lot of opportunities for people to start DJing and start building their hobbies and their habits and their passions.
DJs came out.
A lot of DJs came out of it. Some
a lot of
some of them are
producers.
killing it. It's cool.
That's right. Yeah.
Give people the time, I guess. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You've got all the time in the world for who knows how long. What are you gonna do with it? I'm gonna start DJing.
Let's go.
So yeah, Oriana's, that's my baby, and yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Do you
course.
feel like your previous experiences kind of like prepared you almost for this opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. As far as all the executive stuff that I did at Def Mix, that was one of the reasons why I got this job, and my history, and then of course knowing Dusko, that was a great help, of course. But that's part of being in the business so long.
Absolutely.
You kind of get to the front of
Of course.
the queue,
But they also know what you've done already and know about
Exactly.
your history. So they feel comfortable, confident.
Yeah, so this is where I want to do. This is basically my future is this, the A&Ring part. I want to keep DJing. I don't know for how much longer, but I know that it's at least another 10 years.
Yeah, man.
yeah.
For sure, minimum.
Definitely.
I'm 53 now.
Oh, yeah, you got easily another 10
Yeah,
years.
you're good.
Absolutely.
You'll see. We'll reach that point in 10 years. You say, you know what? Maybe we got another 10 in me. I seen Giorgio Moroder out there still DJing, man.
That's right. My daughter hangs out now at the clubs with me. So
Yeah.
That's awesome.
so it's kind of cool.
I'd love to DJ
She
for
loves
my...
coming to the Stranger. And she loves it when she brings her friends. My dad's playing at the Stranger.
That's amazing.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's what I want to do, is keep building my A&R part. Maybe there's awards for it as well. Maybe that's not everything, but just to be recognized as an A&R. That's what I want to leave as far as when it's all
Legacy.
said and done. My little legacy of having signed and developed good artists
Amazing.
and being known for being a cool enough DJ.
I mean, I think that's needed, because I think so many people look at it as like, I want to be the one on stage, or I want to be the one in the studio. And like, it's a different, and some would say a much harder road to go the business route. And I think it's like how many people's careers have been shaped and how many people have been built because of great A&Rs or mentors that have been able to like take them through this process and give them the feedback that other people might not, or guide them in a way that other people might not.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I've
hats
had
off.
agents tell me for many years, Hector, please just make a record. Just make a record. We'll take you to that next level. It just wasn't in me. I stick to what I'm doing. It's just the A&R part, the business part.
Curation.
Yeah, curation. That's so important.
You've been a music
I tell
fan.
young guys, there's other ways to break into this business. You don't have to be just a remixer producer.
try other things. I don't know, maybe you like to write press releases. I don't know, different things. Well, it used to be work in a record shop. No more record shops.
Even doing like a promo company or something, DJ promo, and
Exactly.
start a network that way.
There are other ways to break into this business.
Anything that you can do to help the community around you, right? Is like, I think there's a lot of different places for people to bring it up, and it's like, really, it comes down to like, you can't be somebody in the community who's always taking. If you're able to give something back to everybody else and part of it, then I think that's the most important thing, and you can grow a career on just giving back. How many promoters have done that? You know what I mean? Club owners, whatever, A&Rs, PR people, booking agents, town agents.
That's it. There's different ways to break it. Of course, the remix and producing is the fastest way.
Maybe not so much anymore.
Right, exactly. With 60,000 records going up every day, right? It's like,
Don't remind me.
80,000. Yeah, exactly.
Well, on that note, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
We're
so
really looking forward to your set.
Yes.
Do you want to tell
Yes.
everybody who's watching where they can find you on social media?
Sure. So just follow me on Hector Romero on all my socials, Instagram, YouTube, and I guess Facebook still, right?
Yeah, for now.
Hector Romero, yeah.
Amazing.
That's it. Thank you so much for.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
Make sure you guys check out the link right below. If you're in the playlist, it'll play automatically. He's about to bless us with a beautiful set.
Yeah, definitely. Looking forward to it.
Same here. Thanks again for joining us.
Guys.
I'm Rich Furniss.
And I'm Lefty. Peace out.